Hello there, folks. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope you're all doing well. So in the past, I thought this song was an original song, but then I was replaying through the base game, um, or perhaps it was in an archipelago run or something, and I decided to go to the end. Anyways, um, this is just Solanum's song. Like for the full like group, this is the song that Solanum plays. So yeah. I think a little mod I could add would be like on the main screen. I don't know if this mod already exists or it should in theory be something that I could add, would be like showing um which profile you're on. That's the words I was trying to do. Okay. So we're wanting to go to Deep Bramble. And okay. So I think, let's see. Yeah, so I think the thing we should go for is this gravity signal. Somewhere in Briar's Hollow, signal seems to be gravitational in nature. Okay, I think that's what we go for. So we go through here. Unknown. Yeah, that is a very gravitational sound now that I listen to it. Oh. So this is like a big ol' gravity crystal. Oh, interesting. Huh. There's like negative gravity. Oh. Okay. Neat. Okay. That's a bunch of levers. I've not yet had the chance to visit the gravity core at the center of the crystal. Would somebody be willing to remind me what sequence of levers need to be turned on to reach the center? Okay, so we need the language in order to be able to read that. While Sonetti and Oculus are constructing the lab to study the aliens' language, I propose that we construct another lab here to investigate the crystal that floats above our heads. Azola, I can help you with this, Nasaya. I am quite excited to see what secrets the crystal holds. Suppose it has something to do with the gravity of this planet. It may. The material we have sampled from Graviton's Folly exhibits only light gravitational properties. It may be possible the crystal strengthens them somehow. I imagine this knowledge would be quite useful to future attempts to use this material. I know Sanetti is having to refine large quantities to create the attractive force desired. Okay. I have a troubling update, friends. It seems the main entrance to the venomous reject has been killed off by the toxin in that area. To make matters worse, this has stranded Italim. Is there not another way through there through the tube-like area referred to as the nursery? He should be able to simply drift through to return, correct? Unfortunately, the nutrient-rich fog of the nursery is quite thick, swiftly halting any movement that isn't supported by constant force. Oh, right. I remember our friends cautioning us to be careful in there, as it would be easy for our thrusters to alert the fish. Okay. So can't use thrusters. I've spoken to his people. Whoops. I've spoken to his people about possible rescue methods, but they seem convinced all attempts would either fail or result in many deaths. When I spoke to them, they were already preparing for a period of mourning. It pains me to think how the inability to rescue their friend must be hurting them. Struggle to understand how they could have given up hope so quickly. Friends, if our friends do not believe it possible to save Ditalim, then it is up to us to do so. We cannot simply allow him to perish without attempting rescue, especially after how his people pulled us from the heat of magma's recursion. Since our studies in this lab have already concluded, we can use the extra space to discuss various rescue methods. I agree, Ditalim came for us in our time of need. We must be willing to do the same for him. We will not rest until Ditalim is returned home. Okay. Forgive me if the answer is obvious, but what is preventing Ditalim from simply crossing back through the nursery? I cannot imagine his swimming would generate enough noise to alert the fish. While this would ordinarily be true, the fish in the nursery are young enough to hear the high-pitched tones he uses for echolocation. Perhaps he could cross the nursery anyways? It seems that it would be possible if he simply didn't use his echolocation. Consider the fear that would come for us from navigating the nursery blind. Under those circumstances, I know that I may not be able to keep my eyes closed. We cannot expect Ditalim wouldn't attempt to echolocate, even if involuntarily. I see, so as soon as he attempted to get his bearings, they would be alerted and attack. Zola and I made a notable discovery when we ventured into the crystal suspended above our heads. It seems to contain a small, delicate core that emanates a strange energy. Interesting. Do you have a hypothesis as to what this core may be? We aren't certain yet, but we've noticed that the energy emitted by the core is similar to that which comes from the internal surface of the planet. Interesting. Suppose that this core is what allows the strong gravitational anomaly of this planet. That is our current hypothesis. Unfortunately, we will be unable to test this hypothesis, as that would likely involve damaging the delicate crystalline structure of the core. Doing this may prove our hypothesis correct, but would also likely to irreversibly destabilize the gravity of the planet. More specifically, the core's energy seems able to combine. Excuse me. More specifically, the core's energy seems to be able to combine with the surface energy in a way that enhances it. Can you tell I'm out of practice of speaking a lot? Okay. Can you walk up this? No. Okay. Come on, game. From what I understand, the smaller size of the juvenile fish renders them slower than the adults. Would we be able to simply rush past them? Unfortunately, the thick fog... Oh! I didn't realize that my oxygen was lowering. Yeah! Oh, there's a bunch of text up there. Okay. Hope the exploration is going well. It is. Very interesting, too. Oh, there's a piece of text here I miss. Even if he were to attempt that, the viscosity of the fog would require him to constantly swim forward. When combined with an inability to observe his surroundings, an accidental, noisy collision becomes all but assured. The story's been really interesting so far. This is day 2 of our explorations. And it's been really good. Very interesting puzzles, very cool story. And it's another archipelago mod, so it expands the amount of archipelago-ness that we're able to do with just Outer Wilds. Especially since they use the fog itself to propel their movement. Interesting explanation for the anglerfish. I imagine this effect would also be worsened on the return trip, as we would need to bring Ditlim back with us. Even if that were not the case, disturbing them on the way there would likely position them into an impossible barrier, stranding us as well. And then there's a bit of text there that we can't reach. I imagine we'll need the repaired gravity crystal? Gravitational disturbance detected at core. Gravitational level stable. Nope. Okay. I you know, that is kind of a way to read that, yeah. Oh. That's neat. I assume that's something that would be in the base game, the headlights of the ship pointing through the window and lighting stuff up over there. And the ship's headlights turned off. Sonetti, can I ask how the construction of your translation lab is coming along? Progress is slow but steady. I must confess, the small size of the entrance is making it quite difficult to transport the necessary material. The distance that the material must be hauled is also impeding my progress. The journey from this quarry to the construction site is not a short one. Have you not been using the larger entrance? There's a larger entrance? Yes, there is a much larger entrance. It would make transporting your material much easier, especially since it is relatively close to Graviton's Folly. So we could fly the ship in. I'll be sure to start using that entrance then. Thank you for the information. I'll make one more trip along the usual path and leave a short-lived beacon at the construction site to make it easier to find the larger entrance you speak of. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna need to find the beacon and then I'll be able to find the big entrance. Okay. I imagine that the locals will also be much happier without us hauling all of our material through their home. Good to know. I assume that's the quarry down there. We'll just fly down like this. I assume that there's going to be writing down here. There's not. Okay. It's just a quarry area. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. I imagine that's not how I was supposed to get there, but also, this is their eye shrine. How do you suppose the signal from the eye could be older than the universe? Perhaps it is by some mechanism entirely outside of our understanding. Maybe we'll open some entirely new avenues of research to us. Grim as it may be, it is possible that some equipment malfunction made it appear older than it truly was, or perhaps the signal was doctored in some way. I find it very unlikely that Eskel would have warped our clan so quickly if an equipment error was a possibility. If the signal was instead doctored, then perhaps we were lucky to have been ensnared by the bramble. Perhaps the eye originates from somewhere outside of our universe. It almost seems necessary for this to be the case, given how hot and dense the early universe is theorized to have been. This may be a possibility. I do not wish to be overexcited, but suppose it is some manner of spacecraft constructed by entities from another universe. Here's what we currently know of the Eye of the Universe. Some time ago, our clan detected a signal older than the universe. Eskel immediately had our clan warped to the approximate location of the Eye, but something went wrong. Rather than arriving at the Eye, we arrived in the Bramble, which quickly ensnared and compromised our vessel. While escape pods 1, 2, and 3 were able to launch, our pods were compromised, stranding us. We attempted to construct a makeshift warp device, but it only served to send us deeper into the Bramble, where we have been trapped ever since. While we are continuing our search for a means to escape, this set of circumstances has rendered us completely unable to reunite with our clan and continue the search for the Eye. Unfortunately, we have become unable to detect the signal previously encountered, likely due to our compromised position. What do you all suppose the Eye of the Universe is meant to accomplish? Why did it call out to our clan? The signal near Magma's recursion, unfortunately, sheds little light on this. Suppose the Eye did not wish to inform us of its purpose. How unsettling. I vote we explore other possibilities first, as the idea that the Eye may purposefully be withholding information is frightening. Suppose the Eye is a construct left by some highly advanced species. It would explain the sudden arrival of the signal, as it may have some conditions that must be met before it will begin its call. Hypothesis: it may be a craft used to travel between universes. If a species used it to come here from an older universe, that might explain its apparent age. Suppose the Eye has no purpose at all. It may simply be a natural phenomena that happens to emit a signal. Perhaps, but the sudden arrival of the signal is rather odd, and Felix seemed to think the signal was significant. Additionally, I struggle to imagine how a purposeless natural phenomena would be older than the universe. Interesting. Get in there. Okay. Oh, hold on, hold on. Can we land on this side as well? We can. Okay. Ah. Nothing more here. Okay. Text wall. With our friends' language translated, we can begin assembling a better understanding of their physiology. I've erected this text wall to serve a location for recording our findings. Nasaya, Azola, and myself had the pleasure of attending an alien concert recently. We posited that they may have different vocal organs than us, allowing them to produce the otherworldly sounds we observed. From what I've gathered, they have inhabited the Deep Bramble in all of their stories. So it is very likely that they developed enhanced vocal organs as an adaptation to the environment. Our friends seem to navigate entirely through echolocation, emitting a highly pitched tone that they use to measure their distance to solid objects in their environment. Notably, this tone is also outside of the hearing range of all but the youngest anglerfish, as we learned when Ditilim became trapped on the far side of the nursery, unable to return without his tone alerting the juvenile fish in that area. Those aliens possess many adaptations that make them well suited towards the environment of the Deep Bramble. Most noteworthy is their sensitive hearing and thin webs between their fingers and toes. Especially impressive, their hearing even allows them to read by detecting the differences in sound reflecting off different surfaces. This seems to be why they write with such a thick, soft substance, and how they can read the chalky lines written by ourselves. Seems that this hearing is even sensitive enough to detect certain biological signals. Amalex seems to use my pulse to determine when I am tense or nervous. This may have helped them avoid predators in the past, such as the anglerfish. It should be noted that certain traits suggest they may originate from somewhere with more light, such as their shallow, likely vestigial eye sockets. Suppose they were not originally from the Deep Bramble. Interesting. More text over there. Okay. I think we'll just come back to this. Let's see. A lot of text here. Text wheel. And then... Okay, more text wheel. And then this spot, which had nothing as far as I saw. Okay, it's about to loop. Yep. Hello there, podcast. I'm sorry. Should I say always say full name Podcastel Anime or something else? But yes, Outer Wild, very good. I really enjoy Outer Wild. You do appreciate reading the text for us? Yeah, I like reading. Something I like to do typically, I need to build up vocal strength again for this, but I do like to use different voices for the different characters. Now, is it consistent between streams? Usually not, but I typically build like archetypes of characters in my head and then try and assign like a voice to that. So yeah. Okay. Ba-ba-bum. Graviton's Folly, Folly's Core, the Core Lab, Stranded Alien, Quarry, Translation Lab. Okay, so I haven't been to the Translation Lab. Or I haven't discovered the Translation Lab. Okay. Okay. Let's just do this. Ah! Electrical systems damaged, which means we're not going to be able to fly anywhere. Okay. Get back inside. Ah! Okay. We happened... Huh, okay, that's actually pretty close to Graviton's Folly. Okay. Let's go here. Get me out. Ah! Okay. This planet appears to be the source of the gravitational anomaly. The signals have been detected in every direction since we entered, and well, there's also the obviously abnormal behavior of the planet. I'm thankful that you noticed this place. It will be an excellent environment to set up more permanent settlement. In particular, this giant crystal should provide remarkably flat ground for construction. Remember, our ultimate goal is to escape here, not to establish permanent residence. It may be worthwhile to investigate whether or not this gravitational anomaly may be utilized elsewhere. Suppose it is inherent to the crystal compound, the crystal composing the ground. Hypothesis: if this property is inherent to the material, it may allow us to create constructions in zero gravity environments. So Nasaya, Azola, and Nasaya again. Okay, nothing else written over here. Text wheel. Azola. Nasaya, you said you had something to discuss with me? Yes, it is a matter of utmost importance, and I thought it best to bring it up to you before the others. Is it regarding your discussion with Karenia? I must confess that your change in demeanor after that conversation has piqued my curiosity. Nasaya, are you crying? Uh, I'm sorry, Izola. My grief is overwhelming me. I knew that our new friends possessed strange abilities, so I decided to speak with one regarding the rest of our clan to try and determine their fate, and the third escape pod did not escape the bramble. Apparently, the pod became ensnared in the vines and, stranded away from the vessel, our friends, they... What are you saying, Nasaya? They perished. They had no source of oxygen and all asphyxiated. Din is dead. Eskil is dead. Even... even... And you're certain of this? Karenia couldn't have made some sort of mistake? No. She was quite certain. She believed that the other two pods escaped to relative safety, but she was certain that the bramble had claimed the third pod. I will leave a note at the language lab to notify Sonetti and Oakless that we need to meet. I do not wish to ruin their good mood so shortly after Sonetti's translation, but they deserve to know. Nasaya, I know that you and Seka were partners. While we are all deeply affected by the loss of our friends, I know that you must be especially hurt by this news. Be gentle with yourself, okay? Thank you, Azola. I will ensure I take the proper time to mourn. Sad. We need the language. We read that text wall, so we need to read this text wall. While Nasaya heads the study of our new friend's physiology, I would like to take the opportunity to share aspects of their culture that I learned of during my translation of their language. Rather than engaging in scientific pursuits, they seem to exercise certain influences over the bramble. This includes influencing the growth of vines, as demonstrated by their holding together a shattered hearth, and even some level of communication. Communication with the plant. Hypothesis: if they are able to communicate with the vines, they may be able to inform us what became of the launched escape pods. Resuming our studies, they seem to gain most of their nutrition from anglerfish eggs, domesticating and inbreeding. I'm great at reading things. Resuming our studies, they seem to gain most of their nutrition from anglerfish eggs, domesticating and breeding the fish to do so. Interesting. I wonder how they began this practice. I can't imagine that anglerfish eggs would have been terribly easy for their ancestors to procure. I believe I do actually have the answer to this question, as an old story may explain it. The story is too long to transcribe here, but I had previously recorded it on Magma's recursion. Agreed. Even now, they continue to keep lights on their homes to ward off any wandering fish. Lights to ward off the fish. Okay, so if I launch the scout, it emits a light, and then the fish will move away from it? Maybe? I have observed our friends seem rather stagnant. They seem interested. I need to come back to this one. Ships around the opposite side. Okay. Eh, Gravity. Okay, their culture. I have observed that our friends seem rather stagnant. They seem uninterested in exploring beyond their immediate vicinity and appear to have entirely accepted their current situation. I would agree, Nasaya. We have also observed how this can be destructive, as they were unwilling to take the necessary risks to retrieve Ditalum when he became stranded at the venomous reject, unable to cross the nursery. Unfortunately, that event seems to have changed their outlook considerably. Fortunately, that event seems to have changed their outlook considerably, as well as inspired them to put more trust in us than they did previously. That's good. That's good. And then big circle of stones. Um, let's start with the text wall. Friends, I have spectacular news. Amalax has informed me there is a mysterious signal reverberating through the area surrounding Magma's recursion, which arrived shortly before we did. I am certain it must be the signal from the eye. With how our luck has been lately, Oculus, I have some trouble believing that. Oculus, consider what you are saying for a moment. It seems highly implausible that the eye signal penetrated into the deep bramble and then became trapped in a particular area. How would that even occur? I know that seems implausible, but so does so does a signal older than the universe. Um it is what our clan risked everything to find in the first place. We would be disrespecting their sacrifice if we sit idle while a mysterious signal is well within our grasp. Please, look at yourselves. We are Nomai. We are meant to make discoveries, but we have been entirely idle for entirely too long. We need this. You're correct, Oculus. As wounded as we may be, stagnating here would do us no good. Our friends would not have wanted us to stay here forever, refusing to move on. Fair points, both of you. Alright, we will investigate this mysterious signal, but only if we unanimously agree to do so. Understood? Understood. Naturally, I agree we should investigate. It will certainly be a risk, but I agree we should at least perform a cursory investigation. Sonetti, Azola, you told us to meet here. Azola, you told us to meet you here. You said there was news to discuss. Yes, Sonetti. Oculus, it seems that our friends on the third escape pod have perished. What? Are you certain? I don't understand how we could have learned this given our current situation. I spoke with Karenia, who was able to commune with the bramble. In doing that, she learned the third pod became ensnared in the vines, causing its passengers to suffocate. I cannot believe. I understand tensions are elevated in light of these events. I would suggest we take a moment to mourn, after which we will construct a memorial in their memory. Oh, this is a memorial for each of them. We construct this memorial in remembrance of those aboard the third pod, whose lives were lost as they attempted to flee from the bramble. Record your thoughts of our lost friends here, so we may always remember them. Din, Protector of all, we remember your analytic nature and your dedication to the well-being of all in the clan. We carry your memory with us. The third pod, protector of its charges. We know you did everything you could to save them, and we thank you for your efforts. We carry your memory with us. Interesting that they'd have a memorial for the pod itself. All those who we did not know personally. You were Nomai, and so it is certain that you were inquisitive and curious, undeserving of the fate that befell you. We carry your memory with us. Seka, beloved of Nasaya, we remember your companionship and mirth, and your ability to brighten any room you were in. We carry your memory with us. Nasaya, I cannot believe I will never see you again, Seka. The future seems unknown and dark without your light to guide us through it. I do not know how to go on without you by my side. Eskel, leader of our clan. We remember your bravery and daring and how you led our people to many great discoveries. We carry your memory with us. Eskel, I'm sorry, but I feel my leadership fails to reach the standard of your memory. One more. Fueling oxygen. Fails to reach the standard of your memory. Regardless of what I attempt, I am unable to maintain morale among our small crew, and this depressive miasma seems to be claiming me as well. I'm unable to utilize the leadership skills you gifted me, but I'm trying to utilize the leadership skills you gifted me, but they are proving ineffective. I can only hope I make a breakthrough soon. I am clueless as to how to locate an escape that the native people have been unable to find for thousands of years. I am clueless as to how to motivate them in the face of such insurmountable odds. Do you suppose our friends on the first and second pod survived? Crania was unable to ascertain what became of the rest of our clan, which indicates they at least escaped the bramble. Do you suppose they may be able to locate us? Our makeshift warp setup should still be intact. Perhaps they will find us. Senetti, anybody who may have survived the crash has certainly made the reasonable assumption that we all perished as well. As such, they will certainly be unwilling to return to the bramble. We are on our own. Don't lose hope, friend. They are our clan. We cannot so completely assume they would abandon us entirely. Stop it, Azola. We have been in the Deep Bramble for months now. At this point, the rest of our clan have certainly concluded that, if we had survived, we would have found a way out of the bramble. Nobody is coming for us, and the idea that we can locate an exit that others have neglected for thousands of years is completely nonsensical. Messiah, I apologize for mentioning this topic. I think that's everything. Hmm. Some sort of lab. There are a bunch of baby anglerfish directly blocking the path to the lab. Larger entrance somewhere in Briar's Hollow. A Nomai who needed to find it left a temporary beacon at the lab, which then guided them to the larger entrance. Hmm. Okay. So I think the next thing we do, we're going to go to the translation lab, which is directly above the alien park. I think that makes sense as the next thing to do. There. Okay. Slow down, slow down. Okay. So it's this hole we want to enter. And then into this hole. Okay. And then this node here. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna try just going out through one of the other holes here. Okay. So that led to there. Maybe this one above? Okay. in Briar's Hollow. Oh! Left a temper... Okay. There we go. Temporary beacon. Which then we can exit this way, which gets us back out to Briar's Hollow. Hold on. Want to get rid of that marker. Okay, so it's this over here then. Aha. Okay. And then they stay latched on. Okay. Cool. Goodness, Oakless was not lying when he remarked at the terrible beast in this area. That anglerfish is massive. Fortunately, it seems the creature is thoroughly domesticated, so it should be no real threat. From what I can gather, this fish is the mother of all others domesticated by the Dree. Okay, they're called Dree. From the size of it, it must consume a massive quantity of food just to sustain itself, even with its sedentary lifestyle. I suspect it would starve if the Dree did not feed it. So, fun fact, in the base game, if you exit the ship when you're in Dark Bramble and just wait for a little bit, some larvae start to crawl across your helmet, and that is what the anglerfish eat. It's like a lore explanation as to what it is that they consume. Update. I have translated the Dree name for the area we find ourselves in. Apparently, the Dree refer to everywhere enclosed by this plant as the Deep Bramble. Interesting. Do you suppose the existence of a deep bramble implies the existence of a shallow bramble? Perhaps the shallow bramble is where the vessel was stranded. Keep up the good work, Zanetti. We all appreciate your efforts, both towards deciphering the Dree language and keeping us updated. Exciting news, friends! I've made significant progress towards deciphering the language of our new neighbors. If you do not mind me asking, what particulars of their language have you decrypted? Mostly common words such as and the. Notably, however, I have also deciphered certain names. Specifically, the species refer to themselves as the Dree, and the Dree I have been working with is known as Ditalin. Great work, Zanetti. At this rate, we'll be able to share discoveries with the Dree before too long. Would this happen to be the same Dree that we first met? That is correct. It seems he is quite eager to help facilitate communications between our two species. This is wonderful news, Sinetti. Does this mean there will be fewer obstacles in the way of communication? Somewhat. I'm still far from completing my translation. I must admit, this discovery is rather embarrassing. Apparently, I had previously mistaken the Dree adjective modifiers for hostile and neutral. Interesting. What led to that error? In our discussions, Ditalim kept using a particular adjective when referring to the group of 3 anglerfish in one of the nodes near Shattered Hearth. I had previously assumed this to be an adjective roughly translating to aggressive, but it apparently means neutral or tame. Peculiar. Would this imply that those anglerfish actually are not hostile? I believe it does. Do still exercise caution. It is possible I still do not wholly understand the translation. Don't fret, Sinetti. It happens to the best of us. Okay. I am I'm gonna do this. It's 3 minutes. We can let the music play. I'm gonna step away for a moment. I'll see you all shortly. Almost perfect timing. I was walking back in the room and saw the timer counting down to 0. Okay. Oh shit. Oxygen. That was close. Let's start here. Oculus, Sonetti, meet Nessa and I at Graviton's Folly as soon as you can. Can I ask why our presence is required? I'm still working on further studying Dree culture. We have news, but it is news best delivered in person. I'm sorry, but that is all I can say. Understood. I only need to finish a few things before I make my way over. Thank you for aiding me in testing this, Digilim. I believe it should work, but it is always best to do some manner of test. No problem, although I do want to ask what exactly we're testing. This recorder. I have modified it in such a way that it should be able to transcribe your spoken language in Nomai. Ah, alright. So we just need to talk about something for a bit and make sure it's picking me up properly? Precisely. We just need a topic to talk about such that we generate a sufficiently large conversation. Let me see. I've always wondered, Ditlem, what was that stone tablet that Oculus returned to you? Oh, it's honestly kind of embarrassing, but it's a poem that I made for my partner, Leoloma. Turns out that she wanted to keep it, but I had accidentally left it at that camp and had to go back for it. That's very sweet. I'm sure you were quite flattered she valued it so highly. Yeah, I'm not the best writer, so it really meant a lot that she wanted to keep it. Was that all, or do we need to keep talking for a bit? I believe that should be sufficient. I will need to review the transcription to ensure its accuracy. Although, would you allow me to borrow your poem? That is a type of text I have not yet encountered in your language, so it may aid in ensuring the accuracy of my translation. Absolutely not. Oh, fantastic. Sonetti, have you had any luck asking the Dree how to leave the Deep Bramble? I have asked many people about how to leave, but so far they all seem certain that escape is impossible. That is troubling. Suppose they simply haven't found a suitable exit yet? I find that to be very unlikely. The Dree have been here for thousands of years. The idea they would overlook an exit for that long is improbable. I'm sorry to report my investigations have not uncovered an escape. I have scoured Briar's Hollow, but have been thoroughly unable to find any new passageways. This is troubling news. If we are unable to locate an exit, we will not be capable of reuniting with the rest of our clan or locating the Eye of the Universe. We should all continue searching for an exit. I refuse to believe we are entirely ensnared by the bramble. Okay. Oh, right there. That was one of the worms that I was talking about before the ad break. Friends, I have truly impactful news. Through the combined efforts of Digilim, other Dree, and myself, I have completed my translation of the Dree language. This is wonderful, Sonetti. Now we can begin communicating with them in earnest. I must agree. This is certain to mark a significant turning point in our communications with the Dree. To complete a translation of such scale so quickly is impressive. Well done, Sonetti. I will write the translation dictionary here. If I format it correctly, It should enable our staves to automatically translate Dree writing, which should prove useful as we learn to fully understand the language. Unfortunately, I struggle to imagine how this will help us communicate with the Dree. They cannot read our messages without eyes, after all. They can, actually. It seems they are able to detect the differences in the materials via echolocation, allowing them to read our writing. Dictionary recognized. Updating Know My Translator. As I'm working on these translations, I cannot help but become more and more fascinated by the Dree's culture. I had been wondering how our cultures might differ, but have been absolutely unable to ask. For one, the Dree seem to value scientific knowledge much less than us Nomai, instead pursuing more druidic practices. Most of these practices seem to center around the plant that surrounds us, which they simply call the bramble. I seem to recall them referring to it as the Deep Bramble. Does my memory fail me? There's a small distinction to be made. The Deep Bramble is the area we are in, while the plant itself is referred to as the bramble. Is this why many of their structures seem to be composed of these woody vines? Yes, interestingly, the Dree seem to have some level of unexplained influence over the bramble. Rather than constructing buildings out of vines, as we previously assumed, it seems they compel the vines to grow into specific structures. Even the planet they call home is only held together because the Dree willed the vines to do so. How interesting. I look forward to being able to ask how exactly this ability works and what else can be done with it. Very, very neat. Okay. Oh. It's interesting they just had the building floating there. That way. There we go. Huh. Okay. I want to see how close the friendly fish. Okay. Okay. So it's along the outer wall. There's a U-shaped bend. Okay. Oh. Pfft. Oh, you just barely can't see it from Graviton's Folly. Okay, so Graviton's Folly, you go through this U-shaped bend, and then it's right there. Okay, that'll make it really easy to find in the future. Casual 2,298 FPS, you know? Okay, so I think um I want to go through and try and translate all the things of the Dree's language. So first thing would be the camp. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Okay. This shouldn't be anything major, but that's one of the worms I was talking about. Amalix and Oculus. Okay. I don't think there was anything here that needed to be translated. I can do a quick check just to make sure. Okay, nothing there. Come on. This is all stuff I read yesterday, but I'm just trying to find any untranslated Dree text. Oh, here we go. It seems to be completely overgrown. Okay, start here. One of our new friends actually approached me today. I believe that it was the same individual that I had previously met at this campsite. Oh, did they seem to have any particular reason for doing so? As a matter of fact, they led me to somewhere quite interesting. Do you remember the wooden knot that lies in the center of Briar's Hollow? The one that leads back in through an infinite loop? They took me through there, and contrary to what normally happens, we arrived in an enclosed space. How strange. What was the space like? It seemed to be a completely overgrown entrance to Briar's Hollow. They beckoned me through another node, although I did not follow them through for fear of being unable to find my way back. I don't understand your strange language, but I hope that you may know mine. Follow where I lead and find us. It may be only a feeling, but I think that our species are fated to meet. Is that our new friend's writing? How exciting! Senetti, are you able to understand what they have said? Unfortunately, I will need to analyze it more before I can determine what this text says, though I can assure you I will begin work on my translation as soon as possible. Okay, so nothing hugely impactful, but interesting. Um, Graviton's Folly. Okay, so we want to go in, and then I know there's several pieces of text we need to translate here. Not here. I think there's a piece here. Nope. And so not in this building, but over here should be. Oculus, I've left a gift for you here. I hope you like it. It is wonderful, Amalix. I fail to recall ever seeing such an intricate necklace, much less one woven from vines. There was no need to come all the way to Graviton's Folly to deliver it, though. I understand that the inverted gravity is uncomfortable to navigate with your echolocation. I am glad to hear that you like it. I just thought that was important enough to deliver it myself, even if that meant just leaving it in your house. Well, I very much appreciate it. I will accept it as a surefire token of the continued friendship between ourselves and our species. Friend zone, friend zone, friends. Okay, no more text over there. I don't think there's going to be anything more here. Such a good song and such a somber song. I feel like there was one more. Oh, here? Okay. Shit. Whoa. Okay. We got out. I don't think there's anything to learn there. Maybe at that building? The ship's struggling to do its thing. Okay, nothing more there. I think there would be a piece here. I think there's also a piece inside the building. I don't know how to read that upper text yet. Maybe it's a gravity crystal thing? Of course, if I remember correctly, all of the levers should be on except for the second and second to last. Thank you, Oculus. May I ask why you wrote that in their language, though? I find it unlikely any of our new friends will visit this planet. It is my understanding the inverted gravity makes them quite uncomfortable. Of course, I am attempting to gain practice with their language, as I am preparing to make a more proper response to the gift Amalek's left in my home. Okay, so there. Hmm. Womp, womp, womp. Oh, shit. Huh. Oh. I broke it. But I think that's the secret. I think I needed to do that. Oh, yep, there's spike pits, all right. Okay. So if you have them set the wrong way, they're gonna explode. You run into them. Gravitational level negligible. I believe I may have a plan to rescue Ditulum, but I will need to conduct more research at the enzyme lab. Please make your way over there ASAP. I truly believe this idea is promising. I seem to have forgotten where the enzyme lab is. Would you mind reminding me? The lab resides in one of the fish near the anglerfish observation platform. It is fairly large, so it should be plainly visible. As an important note, remember to pet the fish's eye before attempting to enter the lab. Otherwise, the fish will likely digest you. Okay, then. Hmm. Okay. I don't think there's anything else to do here. I want to read the ship logs about this piece because enzyme lab. Core lab. Hmm. I've heard of some sort of lab that was dedicated to something called the Distant Node Project. Apparently, the quantum rock on Magma's recursion served some utility for the Distant Node Project. Hmm. claiming that one of the areas accessible near Shattered Hearth contains 3 tame anglerfish. And you need to... once the eye of the anglerfish has been pet. Okay. I need to go to the soil lab. There's more to explore with the Titan's Tears. Okay. Ah! Oh shit! Ah! Okay. Concert hall. Okay. That's there. So I think we want to go... is it this one? Yes. And then through here. Oh. Ah, fuck. Okay. So we want to go to the concert hall, which is there. Okay. There's a lot of text I want to read. Here, we'll read this one. Concert hall. Okay. There's a lot of text I want to read. I want to read this text over here now, just to see the gravity crystal stuff. Observant as always. All you need to do is take your cracked crystal, place it in one of the hexagonal slots, and ring the correct bells. Specifically, you need to ring the bell 2 places left of the crystal, then directly to the right, and finally directly below. I'm quite impressed with your ability to find a repair method so quickly. It never occurred to me that harmonics could be used as a viable method. Thanks. Music is very important to us. So we're always excited when we hear a problem that it might solve. I should clarify, though, that this method is only able to repair minor damage, like cracks. If part of the crystal is outright missing, then it won't work. That seems fairly simple. Doesn't matter what slot the crystal is placed in or do any work. Any slot should work, as long as you're able to ring the correct bells. Okay. So... there's only 4 bells, so we place it here. We do... that one. That one. That one. Huzzah. Gravity crystal repaired. So now we can take this. Now we know how to do that. We can take it to... I think it's inside of Shattered Hearth. For the core lab. I've been kind of concerned about something. If one of you would be willing to discuss it with me. Do you know my find a street unintelligent? It's no secret that you guys have way more technology than we do, and I just wanted to make sure you don't see us as inferior or something like that. Of course not. You all are no less intelligent than us. It's just that the different demands of our species cause us to develop different areas of expertise. Can you elaborate? We nomai are defined by our nomadic lifestyles and inquisitive nature. Because of this, our species put a high priority on the development of advanced technology that would allow us to travel to faraway places. You Dree, on the other hand, had to contend with the hostile environment of the Bramble, so you focused on developments that facilitated your survival. This led to several impressive developments, chief among them your ability to commune with the plant on a level we nomai have never observed in all of our travels. I really appreciate your honesty, Nasaya. I guess it's just another difference between our people that we can use. Um, we go this way. And then... okay. What more is there on Titan's Tears? Let's get this solved quickly. Okay. That is the first thing we read. Nothing more here. Okay, so as far as I can tell, nothing more on this one. So let's head over to this one. Oh, shit. Unfortunately, this body may simply be too small for any effective structures to be built here. It may still have some use. For instance, I believe that this rock may be showing us a possible escape. Oculus might be correct. Looking past this wall, I can just barely see out a place where the wooden enclosure seems to end. If this is true, we should investigate immediately. Escaping Briar's Hollow is our first step towards finding the eye. I would caution you against raising your hopes, Oculus. We have already seen that this environment is far from easy to navigate. Oh, just right there. Okay. I was able to fix the gravity crystal. Okay. So around this side. Right here. Okay. We can go through. It's probably not going to lead anywhere, but we can go through. Yep. That makes sense. Okay. So we're going to head over here. And then right there. Gravity crystal. Okay. And that's there. And so we go into this one. It's just opposite of where the thing is at, the little marker. Fuck. Shit. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. So it's gonna be... It feels like you're not moving anywhere, and then suddenly you're about to collide with everything. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that. Okay. Anything else broken? Aft hull. There we go. Okay. Let's read stuff on our way in. Since you all decidedly, willingly or not, to stay here, we have figured that that only made sense for you to participate in some of our traditions. It is much appreciated, friend. While I am generally accustomed to studying from afar, it will be much more pleasant to fully engage with you and the other Dree. During my discussions with Ditalim, I have noted our new friends not only seem to record their do not seem to record their history. If anyone who knows more finds this, would they please explain how your people's history is tracked? Happy to explain. Basically, while we don't really write stuff down very often, we are always sharing our stories with each other and making sure that they get passed down to the next generation. If you don't mind me asking, why do you know my write things down so often? I mean, you even write out or record pretty normal conversations. It is a byproduct of our nomadic lifestyle. Traditionally, nomad clans are constantly moving from place to place, so writing out or recording our conversations became our way of sharing knowledge with others. If, at some point, another clan were to stumble upon somewhere we had been, they would find our writing and have a head start on understanding their surroundings. I see. So your people rely on a rich oral history rather than writing it down. I do question how you ensure your stories aren't lost to time, however. Well, we don't really move around terribly much, and there aren't that many of us either. That makes it so everyone knows everyone, which makes our oral tradition much easier to practice. Okay, I did scan that one already. If any of our new neighbors are able to answer, where do you originate from? Do your people originate from the Bramble, or do you have a record from outside? We're honestly not sure. There are some stories of a time before the Bramble, but we're not sure if they're true or not. Some stories even claim that Shattered Hearth is actually the planet we used to live on outside until the Bramble tore it apart and swallowed it. That is quite possible for because like the Bramble embeds the seed into a planet, shatters it. Yeah. I'm curious how you all managed to deal with the proximity of the anglerfish. I cannot imagine they are ideal neighbors. They're actually pretty easy to it's actually pretty easy to live with them, especially since they're all tamed now, except for the babies, of course. Even so, I'm unclear how you live in such close proximity to those creatures. The image of their shapes lurking in the fog, hinted at only by their stark white lights, still gives me chills. If you read that again, that might tell you why that's not a problem for us Dree. True, because the Dree don't have eyes. I've actually wondered about that some myself. How does the taming process work, and why is it ineffective on the juveniles? Basically, we just feed them a bunch. The anglerfish are simple creatures. They want to get food, and they want to move as little as possible to do so. That means if you consistently bring them food, they'll understand that the best way to get easy food is by not killing you. The babies, on the other hand, don't care as much about staying still as they care about getting a lot of food. That means they'll still attack whoever gets close, so we have to wait until they're a good deal larger before they can be tamed. I see, that makes sense, given their massive size. I imagine any movement expends a sizable amount of energy. Amalex, one thing we have noticed, especially given recent events, is how your people seem to be a bit too accepting of circumstances. While this has been changing some, I was curious what brought about this attitude in the first place. It's an artifact from when things weren't so peaceful, before we had tamed the anglerfish and things like that. As I'm sure you're all aware, the bramble is not exactly safe, and there was a time where death was pretty commonplace. During that time, we learned that taking tragedy in stride would be more or less necessary for our survival. That danger also led to our attitude towards expansion. We found a corner of the bramble that was decently safe, so we just stayed there. It's cramped, it's not terribly comfortable, but at least we're not having people go missing every other day. I see. I fear we Nomai may suffer from the opposite problem as you Dree. I am sure you have noticed our species' eagerness to explore. It is one of our greatest prides, but it can also lead to some rash decision making. We Nomai are no strangers to these rash decisions claiming lives, and sometimes need to possibly slow ourselves down to avoid it. That makes sense. Messiah was telling me that your clan's discovery of the eye is actually what led you bleh. Your clan's discovery of the eye is actually what led to the tragedy that befell your clan. Your leader, Eskil, was too quick to follow the eye signal, which led to your ship getting stuck in the bramble. If it weren't for you all and your carefully developed relationship with the bramble, the four of us would not have survived. Okay. So, I think that is everything explained. We're gonna put this here, and I'm gonna assume that worked. Nope. Okay. So we have this now. And I think we'll refuel and just drop down in. Excessive heat detected. Okay. I'm gonna check for language tidbits real quick. Nope. I don't think they would be coming here, but I want to know the language tidbits. Okay. Oh, right here. Okay. It go boom at this point. Ah! Okay. How are we supposed to make this work then? Hmm. Weird. Okay. All the way over. Cool. Ooh, cool song. Hey, since you all have been working down here for so long, I thought I would come and let you know about a strange node I found the other day in Briar's Hollow. I tried to send one of the probes that you made in, but it seems to lose signal immediately. I even tried tying a rope to one, but when I pulled on it, the rope snapped, and I barely dodged the shrapnel from the destroyed probe. Curious, do you have any intuition as to why this may have occurred? Were there any strange marks on the recovered shrapnel? It almost looks like it had been destroyed by the rope itself, but I know I didn't pull hard enough to cause that. I don't know if I could pull hard enough to cause that. Karenia's really unnerved by it. She's calling for the node to be destroyed using poison from the venomous reject. Nobody can remember any story of such a node in all of our history, and nobody feels safe with it around. It is not normally our nature to destroy something that could be studied, but if your people are so troubled by its presence, then we will do our best to eliminate the threat. We will simply have to make do with the other mysteries of the bramble. Thanks. I'll let Karenia know that you'll take care of it. Interesting. Messiah, do you mind if I ask a potentially sensitive question? It's about Amalix and I. I have freeze time when I ask a potentially sensitive question. It's about Amalix and I, so I understand if your recent loss is still too sore. I ask because you are the only one of us who has any experience with relationships. It is no problem at all, friend. What is your concern? I don't know if it is a concern or, well, I suppose it is a concern, though I struggle to think of any concrete foundation for it. It's just that, while everything seems to be going well between Amalix and I cannot help but worry. We are so fundamentally different, Messiah. Not in our interests, but on a very foundational level. We're different species, with different histories and customs and habits, and slow down, Oculus. I'm a bit lost. Apologies. I suppose I simply have never heard of such a pairing, and fear that it may be something that fundamentally cannot work. Even the way our relationship began was ultimately the result of my failing to understand him and his customs, and I'm just worried. I understand. If I may, however, I would argue your portrayal of the start of your relationship is inaccurate. What do you mean? You state that you failed to understand Amalex, but I recall is that you struggled to understand him. It is a somewhat small distinction, but I believe it is important here. In particular, by struggling to understand him, you were ultimately successful, allowing your relationship to move forward. I hypothesize this will continue to be the case for both of you, repeatedly struggling to come to an understanding, doing so, and moving forward together because of it. To be honest, it sounds similar to my relationship with Seka. How so? Seka and I had many moments where we struggled to come to an understanding. At the start of our relationship, we both thought ourselves quite clever, and it took some time to realize our interpretation of the other's words and actions were not always correct. Over time, we learned to do better and to struggle to understand each other, as you and Amalix are doing. By the mere fact that you came for advice shows you are already committing to that effort. I suppose you are correct. We both care deeply for each other, and as you said, we have already proven that we can overcome the barriers, and then we ran out of time. an ad break starting soon. So I think I'm going to like pop us through so that we get some music. Okay. I'm going to step away real quick, and then once the ad break is over, we'll be right back. See you all shortly. Hello, I am back. I am. Why did I do that? I'm gonna meditate real quick to give us the maximum amount of time. Okay. That way. Okay. To the soil lab. It's to the right, I think. So we need to go. Nope. It's there. So it's this one we go into. Okay. What's that place? Have I been there before? I assume I have, but... Manner of social area, but we have already observed a park and a concert hall. I wonder how many social areas these people have. Hey, Oculus? Was it? I just wanted to come say hi and introduce myself, since that's something that we can do now. My name's Amalix. Oh, hello. I must confess, I had somewhat forgotten that Sonetti had completed his translation and that we would be able to fully understand one another. Yes, I'm Oculus. It's a pleasure to meet you properly. Were you wondering what this little podium is? It's actually where we come to tell stories and such. Most of our history is kept track of through oral tradition, so we have this place to tell all of the old stories from our ancestors. Interesting. Although, why not use that concert hall for that purpose? I'm certain that it would have the acoustics for it. Ah, also, if you'll excuse me, it's getting a bit stuffy in here, so I'm going to remove this while the oxygen of this planet allows me to do so. Oh, yeah, sure. The concert hall is really for large performances, so it's not really practical. By the bramble, what are you doing? Taking my helmet off? It's stuffy in this suit, so I prefer not to wear it when it can be avoided. But you just pulled off your head, and you have a second, smaller, fuzzier head inside of it. Oh, this is not my head. It's a helmet. It protects my head from impacts, as well as allowing some degree of environmental regulation, such as providing me with oxygen. Did you believe that we all have the appearance of our helmets and masks? Kinda, yeah. So, I guess that's not your skin either? It's actually just something you have, surrounding your real skin? Yes, we Nomai are actually covered in a layer of fur as well, but that is also underneath the suit. I hope my true appearance isn't too disconcerting to you. You appeared quite distressed a moment ago. I thought you had somehow pulled your head off. That's why I was concerned. Your actual face isn't bad at all, though. It actually kind of suits you. I like the softer feel about you. Wait, sorry. Is that a weird thing to say? Not all, my friend. I'm quite flattered. To be honest, I can't say I have had many people compliment my appearance before, especially people who cannot truly see me. I look forward to seeing you around, Amlix, especially now that we are able to communicate. Cute. Okay. to the concert hall, which is over here. I'm glad I happened upon that. Bonk. Okay. Down we go. Ah! Yeah, that's fine. It's right over there. It's not actually that far away. Now that I'm looking at it. Shoot. I think we actually need to go this way first. Okay. And now we just walk. Okay. I might die. Already read that. Over time, we learn to do better. Here, we'll start this one from the top. Sekka and I had many moments where we struggled to come to an understanding. At the start of our relationship, we both thought ourselves quite clever, and it took some time to realize our interpretation of each other's words and actions were not always correct. Over time, we learned to do better and to struggle to understand each other, as you and Amalex are doing. It took conscious effort to do so, but the mere fact that you came for advice shows you are already committing that effort. I suppose you are correct. We both care deeply for each other, and as you said, we have already proven that we can overcome the barriers of our differences. Thank you, Nisaya. You have been a great help. I am glad. I have an open ear whenever you need to talk. Unfortunately, analysis of the eye signal is not promising. I'm unable to ascertain its location, and I'm unable to derive similarly and I am able to derive similarly little information about its purpose. The only trait I'm noticing is a high degree of mutability. It seems as if the eye is something highly capable of change. That is unfortunate. I suppose this information may still prove useful. It is nonetheless discouraging that such an initially promising prospect has proven to be for naught. An update. The signal may yet be of use. We have proposed, and our friends have agreed, that this signal may be the final component required for the distant node project to carry us to the eye. Excellent. I will set about collecting a complete recording of the signal as soon as I can. It may take some time due to the noise from the feedback, but it should be achievable. What the fuck is this? Weird. Alien echolocations. Okay. With the analysis of the eye signal consuming most of our time, travel has become a significant time sink. Due to this, I have brought my side research here so that I can continue work on it during downtime in the study of the signal. Fair idea. May I ask what this side research is about? I've decided to conduct more research into the aliens' physiology. In particular, I wish to perform further analysis on the high-pitched tones that they use for echolocation. I've brought a recording of those tones here. Feel free to study it yourself. You know I always welcome your insight. I'm probably gonna die when I come out of here. Oh, yep. Heat. Okay. So I got the alien echolocation. I read the stuff in the eye lab. Distant node project, bringing them to the eye. I was able to tune my signal scope to the alien echolocation frequency. Some sort of dangerous bramble node in Briar's Hollow. That this node was too dangerous and needs to be destroyed. It's in Briar's Hollow. Would allow them to reach the eye of the universe. I need to find where to take this scroll to. Because I don't remember seeing a scroll slot anywhere. That I can remember anyways. Okay. So there's a couple of nodes that we haven't gone through. Okay. I think I know what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna go to Briar's Hollow. Here, is it actually there? It's about 180 from us, I think. We're not going to grab the gravity crystal for now. I don't think it's going to provide a ton of benefit currently. There's that. And so we need to go to the opposite side. So I believe it's this one here. Okay. I don't think we need to go there currently. We've been in that one. But what about this one here? Actually, first. I want to go to all of the other little nodes that are like the houses. Yeah, let's go over here. And this should hopefully have some additional text that we can read then. Amlex. Okay. Hello, Amlex. I apologize for not reacting properly to the gift you left in my home in Graviton's Folly. I did not understand at the time that it was part of a courting ritual. As for my response, I wholeheartedly accept your offer of partnership. I have left the appropriate necklace in your home as per the second half of the ritual. I hope you don't mind, but I was unable to construct it from the traditional vines as I lack the talents shared by your people. I also sincerely hope the wall I had to construct to write this message is unobstructive. It should be fairly easy to disassemble, which we could even do together if you so wished. Amazing. Okay. There's a node over here. Let's go ahead and go to this spot. Nothing here in this one. Okay. Huh. Oh, it was the thing inside. Okay. Worms. We saw it briefly. Also, I think this is the anglerfish eye that's being reutilized. Okay. I think we're just gonna fly over to the green one. I don't think the other ones will have anything. Corenia. Okay. Nothing else. Just the name of who owned it. Okay. Okay, so there's that one, which is above the park. I want to see what's in this one. Anglerfish. So there are anglerfish here. Amalex's house. Once the eye of the anglerfish has been pet. Hate that. Okay. So don't go to that. Okay. We need to go up and pet the eye. Pet. I'm gonna be safe and assume I need to do it to all three of them. Pet. Oh. There's a building suspended inside. Okay. Totally normal thing to do, no my. Text wall. Okay. Ooh. Cool song. Oculus, you had said that you had an idea of how to rescue Digilim. Yes, I wanted to visit here quickly to confirm my suspicions, but I believe that we can use Kevin, Kevin, to cross the nursery and retrieve Digilim. This does sound promising, but how do you get to Kevin without being attacked? Even worse, what do we do if Kevin brings us to the other side and then wanders away? A sensible concern, friend. But remember, the Dree have already trained Kevin to come when hit in the eye with a small object. I am sure that we will be able to construct some sort of launcher to take advantage of this behavior from a distance. An interesting idea. Kevin's teeth are large enough that we should be able to graft handles to them without causing him harm. Then we could have him carry us across the nursery, and none of the juveniles will suspect anything due to his presence. It sounds as if this will be our plan to rescue Digilim then. Kevin has proven easy to train in the past, so it should be doable in a reasonable time frame. I will be glad when this is done, primarily because it will mean that Digilim is back to safety, but also it will be recompense for the instant when we first approached Magma's recursion. Interesting. It seems that the majority of the anglerfish's internal volume is taken up by this central cavity rather than organs. How can that be? They seem to be large predators that have evolved to swallow prey whole. How can they have such a small space for their stomachs? I do not believe that they have any stomach at all. Instead, this interior cavity is normally filled with free-floating digestive enzyme, allowing the fish to entrap and consume any organic matter that can fit inside its mouth. Additionally, the fact that the enzyme disperses upon petting the eye of the fish is likely not a trained behavior, as it seems unlikely that the Dree would have any need for such a thing. I believe that, instead, this may allow juvenile fish to brush against the eye of an adult to gain access to their prey. Interesting. Interesting. It's rather odd species that are normally so territorial can become such social creatures once their young are involved. Okay, spot for that. Okay. Which one of you is Kevin? If any of you. Can I pet your eye again? Pet. Okay, I don't see any handles there. Okay. Let's return to the ship. Oh, wrong side of the ship. Woo! And let's land on this thing. Yeah. Tooth. Why do you suppose the Dree chose to go through the trouble of taming these fish? I can't imagine that their domestication was something easily achieved. From what we have observed, the eggs of these very fish are the main source that the Dree have for nutrition. Perhaps this is what led them to tame the creatures. Perhaps, but I suspect that has more to do with their proximity. The Dree do not seem to appreciate looming threats and generally take measures to either move away or neutralize them. Do you suppose that this may also be why they refuse to spread? They are very localized and their population is quite low, given how long they've been here. It very well could be. They seem much more content to leave things as they are, rather than take risks in the name of more comfortable living conditions. Friends, Amylyx has informed me of an unfortunate event. The anglerfish guarding the juveniles in the nursery lost one of his centermost bottom teeth in an accident. Did he mention what the nature of the accident was? Not in detail, but from what I understood, it seems as if the two of the juvenile fish got into an altercation and Kevin hit the wall in the process of separating them. Seems that none of the Dree were present for the altercation, so that is simply their best guess. It is fortunate that the Dree have him there then. I imagine one of the juvenile fish could have been seriously injured had Kevin not intervened. Are you referring to Kevin? That is unfortunate. I hope it does not leave any permanent effects. It seems as if he should make a full recovery, except for the permanent mark left by the missing tooth. Okay, so none of these are Kevin. At first, I was quite confused how these fish could survive with the stark absence of viable prey, but after observing them, I believe I understand. They live very sedentary lives, only moving to ambush potential prey. This allows them to expend very little energy. In fact, I believe that only ones as large as the mother near the translation lab require larger prey. Smaller ones can simply subside on the smaller creatures that float through the bramble, digesting anything foolish enough to enter their mouths. This may even explain how that anglerfish grew to that size. Perhaps they grow proportionally to their nutritional intake. Thus, the extra food the Dree gave her was causing her to grow to such an exceedingly massive size. An interesting idea, Nasaya. This would explain why the Dree are able to rely on the anglerfish staying away. There is no need to worry about an encroaching predator when that predator never moves. Okay. I'm assuming the final node I have not been to. More to explore here. Okay. Let's do a quick... Just a quick double check that there's nothing more here. Oh. Okay, well, there's a couple of damaged scrolls. I don't think anything else. Okay, yeah, nothing else. Might as well go see what's in the nursery? Because this loop's almost over, so like just getting an initial thought. We don't have enough time to go get the other thing. The scroll and come back here. A yellow one here. Yeah. The nursery. Does it hit the eye? Nope. Okay. I think we're just gonna meditate. We have just about enough time for one more loop before our next ad break. Up. Okay. So we want enter. Come on. Here. Um, that's the wrong one. Ah. Must be here then. Yes. Hmm. There's one node that's probably damaged somewhere. It's right here. Okay. So we grab this. Anything around back? No. Okay. Okay. So we'll take this to get out. So we'll take this and we'll go to the enzyme lab. Let's repair some stuff real quick. Okay. Enzyme lab would be this one here. The yellow one is the bad one. It's so how they turn towards you immediately. Please, 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 please. Okay. Pet. Okay. This rock achieves its behavior. It appears to move exclusively when it is unobserved. Perhaps it is some form of macroscopic quantum behavior. It may exist in all locations at the same time, but collapses to a single possibility once observed by a conscious being. If this is the case, it may hint at the nature of the eye as well. This rock seems to emanate a signal similar to the one reverberating this area. An interesting idea. This may indeed be the case. I can think of no other explanation for how it may relocate itself so dramatically. While this is an interesting find, it is a shame that it does not seem to be useful to our current goals. I had hoped that this would help us locate the eye of the universe. Actually, I believe that I may have accidentally found an additional behavior of this rock. When one of the two main locations is blocked by a small object, such as a scroll or a writing staff, it seems that the rock moves to an additional third location. I theorize that this is due to the rock having an extremely low probability of it appear in that location. However, it is forced into the superposition once the only other possibility is occupied. I have been calling this the rule of quantum probability. Even more interesting, but I still fail to understand how this would aid us in reaching the eye. I'm still putting together the details. In particular, I want to bring Krenia to observe this phenomena, but I believe that this may be useful to propose to a proposal of mine that I'm calling the Distant Node Project. Okay. So we take this back with us to there. Oh well, close enough. Okay. Catch us and then let us down. go back in here. Drop the scroll there. Aha. Button. Whoa. That's a lot of bramble. Nasaya. Meditation log 134. Setting up now. Just need to put my writing staff somewhere. Here will do. Okay. Sitting down, closing my eyes, and breathing in and out. Ah, I was skeptical at first, but this truly was a brilliant suggestion on Karenia's part. These meditation sessions are making everything that's occurring much more bearable. Though she does find my choice of location strange, I cannot help it that I cannot help that it is the best for this exercise. Sentence strange in my brain. I'm convinced this stone has something to do with the eye. Meditating atop it makes me feel closer to the eye and, by extension, the rest of our clan. Ah, it's hardly been any time at all, and I can already feel my body ignoring the stifling heat of this planet. Wait, no. I'm certain that it is noticeably cooler in this cave than it normally is. What's going on? Ah, I'm not in the cave anymore. It seems that I have somehow managed to find myself somewhere else entirely. Incredible. It's so green. In a way that I have never seen the bramble. Just what is this place? Did you bring me here, my wandering friend? Is this place important somehow? I cannot help but feel that it is significant. Must find a way out and tell the others. Something tells me that this is a very crucial discovery. This is the place I mentioned, friends. The strange chamber that the Wandering Rock has seen fit to bring us. It is my intention to bring Karenia here as well. I cannot help but feel this is a location of significance to the bramble. I would have to agree, Nasai. I do not recall ever seeing a place where the plant looked quite this alive. Nasaya, how did you find this? This is incredible. I can hardly believe. I didn't think any living creature would ever be allowed to find it. Krenia, what are you talking about? You never thought anyone would be allowed to find it? What even is it? This is the heart of the bramble. I know it. I can feel it deep, deep in my bones. The entire planet grows from this node, this very spot, below our feet. Can you feel it? Can you feel its life concentrated here, growing from here? In this place, I could commune with the bramble so directly, I could speak to it and hear and be heard as I have never been before. This may be the most significant discovery for my species since, well, in any of our barely recorded history. Commune with the bramble as you never have before? Krenia, you've given me an amazing idea. I will visit you when I can to discuss it, but I need to make sure it is all correct in my own head first. I'll speak with you shortly. I believe so? I cannot be sure, but this place does feel different. Whoa. Some actual greens instead of it being dead. That's really pretty. Okay, Krenia. I've been discussing a plan of mine to see if it is feasible, and we seem to be in agreement that it is worth an attempt, friends. Worth an attempt. Friends, I believe it may finally be time for us to make our way to the eye. That is a bold claim, Messiah. But knowing you, it is not one you would make lightly. I'm relieved to hear your words, friend. Please, explain your plan. Are you certain? It is time to reunite with our lost friends? We believe that, utilizing the better communion granted by the heart, we can get the bramble to grow a node near the eye of the universe. Then, we could be able to cross through a linked node here and arrive there instantly. Messiah, Karenia, this is quite a bold plan. Much of the Foundation seems to be based on unsure concepts which we have not been able to properly experiment. Do you truly believe this can work? Yes, we do. Then it sounds as if we have much work ahead. Everyone, begin preparations. It is time to construct the Distant Node Project. In this place, the heart of the bramble, we believe we have discovered the means by which we may finally reach the eye of the universe. Being here allows us to commune with the bramble like never before, to hear and be heard by it in a way that our people have never been able to. Excuse me. Through a joint effort between the Nomai and the Dree, we believe we may finally reach the eye, encouraging the bramble to grow a node near our destination. The contribution of the Nomai will be the apparatus by which the node will grow. By exercising our skills in bioengineering, we will construct a machine that will allow for the rapid growth of a bramble node. It will be the gate through which we step to reach the eye. The part of the Dree will be to commune with the bramble, to convince it to grow a distant node that will bring us to our destination. To do this, the bramble will be primed for communion, and the Dree themselves will attempt to attune themselves to the signal left behind by the eye. This will be the carrier that allows the gate to function. We are Nomai, and we will no longer wallow in misery at every discovery we cannot make. We are the Dree, and we will not fade to dust while the means to improve our lot is within our grasp. We are the conjoined clan, two species as one. We will go forth unto new wilds together. The conjoined clan, I love that. Diddlem, I think you might want to wait to kill that dangerous node until later. Why? I think it might be some sort of parasite on the bramble, although I can't be sure. I think waiting to kill it until just before putting the project into motion may put us in the bramble's good graces. Okay, sounds like a plan. Once we're ready to grow the node, I'll go and kill the dangerous one, then come right back. Okay, so that'll be something we need to do. 281,137 years ago, lockdown initiated due to sudden increase in internal temperature and radiation. Heat and radiation has dissipated. Lockdown procedure removed. I'm assuming this would be due to the explosion of the ghost matter across the galaxy. The solar system, I should say. Aww. The two of them together. It looks like the project failed because it exploded. Huh. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of them. Okay. Okay, the bramble is primed. It's now or never. Digilim has yet to return from his task. Should we not wait for his assistance? I would really like to, but I can't guarantee how long the bramble is going to stay in this state. If we don't do this now, we might never get another chance. Very well then. I suppose we must proceed. Messiah? Sanetti? Is the equipment in place? Everything is ready. The equipment should automatically supply nutrition to the node as the bramble grows it. Excellent. Oculus, Emelix, you two are the visual and auditory organs of this operation. Notify everyone if anything seems amiss. Karenia, we are ready for you all to begin. Oh, good. Okay, everyone, follow my lead. Try and guide the bramble to the eye. I think it's working. The bramble is heeding our calls. I can feel it probing, searching for the source of the signal. Something feels wrong. Is the eye supposed to be big and hot? I swear that the bramble is focusing on something of that nature. Big and hot? No aspect of the eye signal suggests it. Suggests it should have either of those qualities. Unless a star, Azala. We need to shut off the project now. The bramble is attempting to grow the distant node in the core of a star. No, Nasaya, shut off the equipment. Everyone, direct the bramble away. We cannot allow it to... Unfortunate. What if we go through this? Interesting. Recursive node? Or it's somewhere... Okay, it just brought us back here. Okay. Oh no, that was through the... Whoops. I didn't realize that an ad was running. For those who were in the ad break, I apologize for that. The node that they were growing ended up attaching, like locking onto a star instead of the eye of the universe. And so it exploded and they all died. So there's one more Dree that was somewhere. So there was 11 Dree who were dead and one and 4 Nomai. Rescue mission. Dangerous node. Okay, so we need to find the dangerous node. It's in Briar's Hollow. Okay. And so something in the nursery. This is the nursery. On the top of teeth of a fish named Kevin. In an area called the Venomous Reject, only accessible through somewhere called the nursery. Huh. Okay. Okay. So, based upon this, it looks like there's 3 nodes to go through. So we must have all of the information we need for this. I don't know exactly how. So there's the rescue mission, and then okay, I guess we gotta get into the nursery, but it sounds like the ones in the nursery aren't trained. Maybe we search for the dangerous node real quick. Echolocation tones. Yeah, must be over here. Oh, are we gonna meet Ditulum? This node is dangerous. It is set to be destroyed. As of now, nothing except shrapnel has ever been retrieved from here. Under no circumstances should you enter. If you are here to destroy the node, insert the poison into the receptacle attached to the side of the node. Wait. Recall request unacknowledged. Well, shit. Okay. Well, I think we can lock on to this now. Unknown? Okay. Um, I assume... Fuck it. Let's go in. What's the worst thing that will happen? We'll be ripped to shreds? For several seconds. Wait, for several seconds? Recall completed. Fuck it, let's go. Digitalum. We saw them turn around at us. Right? Going into the node seems to end the loop instantly, although I can see some strange creature turns towards me just before my vision fades. Warped echolocation. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. I don't think there's anything more to do there with that. I think for the dangerous node, so we've seen Digitalum. I think we need to inject the poison into the node, and then I don't know if we're going to be able to traverse into there or what exactly we're going to be doing. I think it's time to go to the nursery. I don't know anything else that we're really going to be able to do. Okay. That's there. And so I believe it's this one that we're going into. That doesn't look right. Back out we go. Okay. So perhaps this one? Yeah. There it is. It's look who it is. Okay. So we want to go to the yellow node, which is that one there. Okay. What if we get past all of them? Okay, there's a node at the other end. You're not the one. You're not the one. Are none of these the one? I think they're gonna eat me as soon as I fly forward. Yeah. Having the scout land onto the windshield. Amazing. Okay. So we need to find this Kevin. Okay. I have no idea where Kevin is at. Hmm. Get in, please, to this hole. Pa, 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 pa. I am honestly a little bit perplexed as to what exactly we need to do here. It feels like there might be a little bit of knowledge I'm missing. Let's just make sure real quick, right? So yeah, no, it's just those two there. Okay, so that's the nursery. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, text wheel. Kevin. Where would Kevin? You know what? Let's go in here. Let's see if we can identify Kevin as one of the ones here. There are exactly 3 shown here. All of the teeth are missing from these. Hmm. Except for the permanent mark left by the missing tooth. Centermost bottom teeth. I Where's Kevin? I feel like once we know where Kevin's at, we can wrap this up, but unless maybe they're out here in Briar's Hollow? Hmm. Parents Rest. Hmm. I like okay. So I need to find Kevin. Kevin will have handles on the teeth, and I can pilot Kevin by shooting it with the scout launcher into the eye. But I feel like I've just missed a log entry or something? To use an anglerfish named Kevin to cross the nursery. To make sure that it would carry them back, they trained it to react to being hit in the eye with a small object. The fish have no proper stomach. Instead, they produce a free-floating digestive enzyme. It's very thick and sucks matter in before digesting it. Um, the harsh environment seems to have rendered the squirrels useless. Okay. The Nomai theorize. Can force it to inhabit the more likely location. Rule of quantum probability. Hmm. One of its bottommost center teeth. None of these seem like the one who would have lost their teeth. Like, up to this point, things have felt very intuitive. Asking questions directly to chat. Without directly spoiling, does anybody have any ideas for what I might need to do here? Like, maybe I just fly back to the other node, the nursery node, and then hope I can shoot it in the eye? Like, this does not feel like a very solid plan, to be completely honest. What if I get lucky and just shoot it through to the other area? This might be too far up. This doesn't feel like the right strategy either. I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing here. Like, I almost want to like reach out about this because I feel completely at a loss as to what to do. Quick little flyabout. Not that I think that's going to be incredibly helpful, but yeah, you know what? I'm fairly confident that I am completely stuck and I don't know what to search up. I don't take searching for things lightly because this is a game for like discovery, but yeah. Outer Wilds modding. Forgotten. I'm gonna just search for Kevin. Forgotten. Okay. And then Kevin. There should be a ship log information on him via the anglerfish observation platform and the enzyme lab. How to move forward. Found the dangerous node, but got time looped and seemed to get all entries related to that, including something about a syringe. Entries for the Distant Node Project Translation Lab is the rescue mission. None of the fish in the nursery seem to be missing teeth, and hitting a fish from that far away with our scout seems unlikely. Yeah. Okay. So it's suggested to use the signal scope zoom. Okay. Is it that one? I think it's this one. Tooth appears to be missing. Okay. Okay. Please? Are you gonna be cool and normal, Kevin? Looks so. Okay. Can I pet you? Pet? Okay. And then there's handles. Handles. Grab. I assume we're being taken somewhere. Yeah, waypoints moving way far away from us. Green node. I guess we go in. Ooh. Creepy music. Okay. Text here. Yikes. I see what Crenio was getting so worked up about. This place is really creepy. It feels unnatural, like the bramble doesn't want it here. I'm just going to poke around a little bit and then leave. Can't believe that the Nomai can stand to be here for more than a few minutes. Okay, that's probably not good. There was a massive creaking sound a few minutes ago, like wood splintering. Probably about time for me to take my leave. Okay, definitely not good. When I exit this dimension, it seems like I end up on the far side of the nursery instead of near shattered hearth. I don't really have any way to get across with all of the baby fish there, so I guess I'll sit here and wait for rescue. Okay, so it's been a few hours now and nobody's come. Are they not able to get across the nursery? I hadn't even considered that. Am I gonna die here? It's been a couple of days now, and still no sign of anyone. I'm starting to lose hope. Maybe the Nomai are trying to find a way, but after this long, I'm probably already being mourned back home. Maybe I should chance it with the fish? I know that I won't starve for another week or so, but it's hard to tell if starvation is better than being eaten alive. No, I know that they won't give up hope. That they won't give up. I just need to give them time. I'm really starting to get desperate now. I've been in here for about a week and nobody's coming. I think it's time. I'm either going to make it across in one piece now, or not at all. Wait, hold on. Is that somebody? For somebody's? The Nomai! But by the Bramble, they actually figured out a way across. The Dree have found a hazardous node, and, at their request, we are to develop a delivery method for the toxin produced by the venomous reject. I'm still hesitant to destroy this node. Its behavior sounds unique. We all are, but if the Dree believe it to be a significant threat, I am inclined to be rid of it. This should not be difficult in and of itself, but who should deliver the toxin? We cannot ignore the possibility of the bramble reacting in some violent manner. I can do it. I know my way around the deep bramble, and I'm sure I can handle whatever happens. If you are certain, then that will be our plan. We will create a specialized mount and injector. The mount will be installed on the node to aid in administering the toxin, and you will be charged with the actual delivery. Toxin injector. Okay. And there's a couple of other things to do, and I'm going to assume this is death. It's not. That's kind of a surprise, to be honest. Okay. I think we're going to finish this up here. I might actually have stream go a little bit long to allow for that. Okay. I think it's this one. It's always a little bit hard to tell. Yeah. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Okay. Okay. Line it up with the eye. And then... bonk. Okay, so we need to pet the eye so that we are safe. And then we grab onto the handle. And then it will fly us over to the other side. Okay, and pet. Okay, now that we're facing forward, I can actually see that stuff is happening. Before, my character was facing down, so I couldn't see anything happening. I found a very large syringe on a table in the lab. Okay, Kevin, we'll see you in a bit. Okay. 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 So... a little bit more to read here. I cannot help but feel unnerved by this place. Even given the nature of the bramble, I cannot help but feel this place is unnatural. I also have this feeling, Oculus. Something here feels definitively different from other locations in this plant. That may